Matthew 5, verses 1 and 2. Now, I normally preach this exact idea when I'm talking about the Beatitudes, right? But look at this. Look at verse 1 and 2. Now, when Jesus saw, what does he see? The crowds. Then he went up on the mountainside and sat down. And this is what it says. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. So the Sermon on the Mount, who is the Sermon on the Mount for? It's not the crowds. It's almost like Jesus went up on the mountainside, his disciples come close to him, he's teaching the disciples, and just by secondary blessing, the crowds get to hear it, right? So Jesus went up on a crowd and he called the 12 to himself so that he could teach them. And he goes on about this, talking about how, like, why do you teach in parables? And then Jesus says, well, this understanding has been given to you, but I teach in parables so that they can understand, right? There was this different level of understanding, of depth, of investment that Jesus gave the disciples that he didn't give everyone else, which to me sounds like, in my personal life as a pastor, right? Even as a pastor, but I think this goes to any Christian. There's some people that I should invest more in than other people, and that's okay. I'm not being a bad person. Now, if there happens to be an outsider who doesn't have anyone, I should have eyes for that. I should pay attention to that and say, hey, I want to support you and take you under my wing. We're going to do this together, right? We don't want to leave people out. But if our only level is don't leave anybody out, well then what about the people who you're going to let in? Let people in, man. Jesus did it. He let them in. He taught them more deeply, more profoundly. He gave them messages that he didn't give others. And Jesus, I believe, as his disciples, calls us to do the same. While Jesus ministered to the crowds, this is what it says. He spent more intimate teaching moments with the 12, investing in their spiritual growth. He spent more intimate time with the 12. And I got to be honest with you. I read a study, and I mentioned it in my last sermon, that the average millennial has 0.8 close friends. 0.8. And this is why I think that happened. I think because 50 years ago, close friends were kind of built into your life, right? It was people you worked with or people in your neighborhood. But now, because we work online, because we travel a lot when we work, and because we don't really know our neighbors, there is no automatic close friends. It's not going to automatically happen anymore. If you want close friends, you got to call someone and be like, hey, do you want to go get coffee with me? Hey, let's go out to eat together. Hey, I'm free next Friday. Do you want to come over, right? That's the only way it's going to happen, because it's not we sit on a conveyor belt next to each other doing rivets for 6 hours. We're going to become close friends. I worked at one of those jobs. I became very close friends with the guy next to me, even though we had nothing in common. That's not going to happen in my life now. My life is different now. I'm traveling, I'm driving around, I'm doing different things every day, and my life's crazy. I'm sure you feel the same way. So if you want to have those close friends, you got to have intimate, purposeful relationships.